nice lady.
I mean, I like her personally. She's a really nice person. You know, I like to spend time with her, but I mean, aren't you disappointed? I mean,
Absolutely.
Howie. She tells you up front though what she's gonna be voting for and how she's gonna vote.
Yeah, but it's not.
Oh, it's not right.
She gave an eloquent speech against Obamacare.
Yeah, right.
Right.
How about the vote?
yeah, yeah, amnesty. I mean,
Make the Washington
Yeah.
water. How about joining the lynch mob against Ted Cruz? I love it.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
She denies that she's getting subsidies from Obama.
About the money.
Yeah, I think, you know, unfortunately, I think that, you know, and I don't see any, and I understand that, you know, your state has become rather schizophrenic in recent elections. What?
The voter complaints in the voting area.
Right. Well, I mean, it's hard to go though from what happened in 2010 to 2012 and say that everything was stolen. I mean, it's just like everybody switched. Everybody who voted for Democrats in 2008 voted Republican in 2010, voted Democrat in 2012. I mean, I don't know. I assume that you know, Kelly Ayotte, if I were a statewide office holder in New Hampshire, I'd be concerned as well about my future. But I'm just not sure that you know, that this is. I don't know. I don't know how you stop what's going on in Washington if you're going to play footsie with you know, Lindsey Graham and John McCain. I like, you know, I liked your, is the old House Speaker here, O'Brien? I thought is he speaking here today? No? Now there was a guy, see, we're not all bad people from Massachusetts. He was from Massachusetts. And he is from Massachusetts. He used to be the law partner of Tom Finneran, Felon Finneran, the House Speaker who became a talk show host on my station. It's just though that, you know, I really think that most people are more with us than they are with them. It's just a question of trying to educate them. It's an ironic thing. I talk about it a lot on my show. We have a situation now where people have more information at their fingertips now than they've ever had before in the history of the world. And it, you know, my predecessor at WRKO was Jerry Williams. And he had a favorite book, and it was called "Amusing Ourselves to Death." And the book is the title tells you all you need to know. But that's what's happening now in the United States with all this information available to people. Everybody is just relying on bread and circuses. It's like Rome.
Right.
You know, the circuses are pro sports. And the bread, I don't have to tell you what the bread is. It's an EBT card.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't leave home without it.
Yeah, don't leave home without it. Exactly. And what we have to do is we have to educate people. Somehow we have to figure out a way to educate people and tell them that this narcotic government that they're getting is not good for them. And that you know, there is, you know, there's always a saying about about immigration. You know, there is nothing more expensive than cheap labor. And you know, the only thing that might be more expensive than cheap labor is free health care. You know, and these we have to make our neighbors understand that you know, this is not going to be good for them. That right now there are problems with American healthcare, but it's still the best. It was the best healthcare system in the world, and what we already are devolving to. There was a guy that is one of the big higher ups in the Medicare and Medicaid system, and he said last March I remember, because I read it, and I thought to myself, this guy is being a little too truthful for the Obama administration. He said, what we've got to do with Obamacare is prevent the country from falling into a third world healthcare system. And people thought he was joking. Or some people thought he was joking, but he wasn't joking. He was telling the truth. And that's what we're headed for. And as you know, they're already there's some doctors here, and we know that many doctors that are getting up close to 60 years old or a little over are just packing it in early, packing it in 5-10 years early, or they'd like to or they'd like to set up their own hospitals. It's harder though. The government is trying to stop people from setting up their own hospitals. And I mean, if these people are reelected, I mean, it's not just the Supreme Court that's going to be gone. I mean, look at the bureaucracies. Like, for instance, the EPA or the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. These people are going to try to shut down all the innovations that have kept this country in the game, in spite of what's been going on in Washington. Look at fracking. They want to stop fracking. We had the thing. I work right across the street from Channel 2. I go to work the other day. Guess who's standing out in front of Channel 2? Elmo. Elmo's standing out in front of Channel 2. And he's carrying a sign, and he says, "Stop the Keystone XL pipeline." Yeah. Hey, Elmo, I thought you had a date in New York. I thought you were up for a pedophile rap. But he wants to stop. Elmo wanted to stop. They're mad at David Koch. David Koch has given Channel 2 $18 million. He's given MIT $200 million. He's given the prep school he and I both went to in Western Mass, I think $70-80 million. He's given the Metropolitan Museum of Art tens of millions of dollars. But he doesn't believe in global warming.
Good, yeah.
It's a religion. It's a religion. They used to call it the Church of Global Warming. But then one of their false prophets couldn't hide the decline. So they had to change the name to the Church of Climate Change. Right, that's its new name. The Church of Climate Change. But he's an apostate. He's a heretic. And so they want to burn him at the stake. But it would increase their carbon footprint. It's really something. This guy, I mean, he believes in gay marriage. He's a social liberal, but he has a company or a myriad of companies that produce things that people want and need, like gasoline and fuel oil and natural gas. And they hate him for it. George Soros comes in. What does George Soros do? He wrecks currencies in the Ukraine. He's a currency speculator. And they love the guy. So you're dealing with people here. They want to stop the Keystone XL pipeline. T. Boone Pickens, who I had on my show last year, actually, with Kelly Ayotte down in Tampa. He was giving her a lecture. Little lady, you just don't know much about the energy business. T. Boone Pickens said, if you put the Keystone XL pipeline in, you put OPEC out of business.
Yeah.
How can that possibly be a bad thing for the United States of America and the Western world?
Crook TV.